Iran has intensified its retaliatory campaign across the Middle East, launching missile and drone strikes on American military targets and allied countries. In the latest, the Iranian military once again targeted the United States naval base in Bahrain. The footage showed Iranian missiles hitting the headquarters of the U.S. Fifth Fleet Naval Base. Although interceptors attempted to down Iranian missiles over Bahrain, they failed. Bahrain International Airport was also a target. An Iranian drone directly targeted the American military installation at the airport. Bahrain's Interior Ministry said the international airport was targeted with a drone, quote, resulting in material damage without loss of life, end quote. It also said authorities were securing the area. The U.S. Embassy in Bahrain warned on February 28th that it considered high-rise buildings unsafe. The U.S.'s Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar also came under the barrage of Iranian ballistic missiles. An online video shows Patriot air defense systems working to intercept the Iranian missiles tonight. It showed the successful interception of several targets, lighting up the night sky. Earlier, on February 2, 8 people were injured in Qatar after Iranian missile shrapnel landed in multiple locations across the country, following a barrage of Iranian missiles that Qatar said its air defenses intercepted. Al Jazeera reported citing authorities. Qatar's Ministry of Interior said 66 missiles were fired, and authorities received 114 reports of shrapnel falling nationwide. Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned the attack by Iran, calling it a reckless and irresponsible, as well as a flagrant violation of sovereignty and an escalation threatening regional stability. Meanwhile, Iran also targeted Israeli neighbor Jordan. A fire broke out on the streets after an Iranian missile strike, according to reports. On February 28th, the Jordanian armed forces intercepted and shot down 2 ballistic missiles. The military also said its air force was conducting aerial sorties to protect the kingdom's skies and safeguard its sovereignty.
Shocking footage now emerging from the Gulf, claiming to capture a high-speed Iranian ballistic missile making its way toward a major U.S. military installation, and Patriot air defense systems failing to stop it. In this clip, 3 Patriot air defense missiles fire in rapid succession, each attempting to intercept the incoming warhead. But against expectations, all 3 interceptors failed to connect. The warhead continues its deadly trajectory, slicing through the sky as defenses scramble. The Iranian ballistic missile warhead targeted the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, a key hub for U.S. operations in the Middle East. Al Udeid houses thousands of U.S. and coalition personnel, along with critical command and logistics elements. The base has been central to American military efforts across the region. Al Udeid also came under Iranian attack last year in response to Israel and America's strikes that killed several officials and damaged nuclear sites in Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow. Defense officials are now assessing damage and personnel safety as tensions remain dangerously high following a series of retaliatory strikes between Iran, the United States, and allied forces.
Iranian state television, IRIB, has released dramatic footage showing ballistic missiles being launched toward Israel and U.S. military bases across the region. The launches mark Tehran's thunderous retaliation after U.S. President Donald Trump declared that major combat operations had been carried out jointly by the United States and Israel inside Iran, an announcement that ignited one of the most volatile escalations in the region in years. According to U.S. officials, Israel targeted senior Iranian political and military figures, while American forces focused on degrading Iran's ballistic missile and nuclear infrastructure. In response, Iran unleashed missiles not only toward Israel, but also toward U.S. bases across the Middle East, including installations in the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan. The retaliatory strikes sent shockwaves across the region, triggering air defense systems and raising fears of a widening war. Iran has struck Gulf states hosting U.S. military bases in the region. Multiple explosions were reportedly heard in key cities of UAE, Qatar, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. According to the Fars news agency, Iran has confirmed targeting Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait, Al Dothra Air Base in the UAE, and one more base in Bahrain. According to AFP, Abu Dhabi and Doha reported blasts hours after Israel and the U.S. conducted joint attacks on Iran. President Trump, in a video address, urged Iranians to take over your government, calling the moment a turning point. But Tehran pushed back strongly. In an exclusive interview, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Iran is open to de-escalation and willing to talk, but only if U.S. and Israeli attacks stop immediately. He dismissed calls for regime change as mission impossible. The escalation erupts in defiance of fragile nuclear negotiations that had promised a narrow path away from war. Even as diplomats huddled over proposals to curb Iran's nuclear program, U.S. forces were quietly but unmistakably reinforcing their presence across the region. Warships repositioned, aircraft deployed, defenses tightened, preparing for a storm that now appears to have broken. Tehran says the joint strikes shattered diplomacy at its most delicate hour, splintering talks just as a breakthrough seemed within reach. Now, with missiles carving fiery arcs across the night sky, words have given way to weapons. Ballistic missiles launched, regional bases targeted. The confrontation has crossed a perilous threshold. The coming hours will decide whether this remains a contained cycle of retaliation or ignites into a wider regional war with consequences far beyond the battlefield.